Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone had a nice day. Today's video is going to be, it's a reviving of a series that I started back in October called Underrated Horror Films. Today's film, this will be the fifth one I've done in the series, and this is going to be focusing on a film that I absolutely love. I've been a fan of since it was first released. It was done by one of my favorite directors of all time, and it's probably one of the best Stephen King adaptations ever. The film I'm talking about is Frank Darabont's The Mist. So what I'm going to do is give a little bit of a plot and details about the characters and the cast, and then talk about my thoughts on the film. And I really hope everyone enjoys this, and please stay tuned. The Mist would be released in November of 2007. It was adapted for the screen by Frank Darabont, and he also directed. After a mysterious mist envelops a small New England town, a group of locals trapped in a supermarket must battle a siege of bloodthirsty creatures and also handle apocalyptic and biblical fears amongst them that threaten to tear them apart. Thomas Jane would play David Drayton. You had Marcia Gay Harden as Mrs. Carmody, Laurie Holden as Amanda Dunphy, Andre Brower as Brent Norton, Toby Jones as Ollie Weeks, William Sandler as Jim, Jeffrey DeMunn as Dan Miller, and Frances Sternhagen as Irene Repler. What's interesting is there's several members of the Walking Dead cast that would work with Frank Darabont 3 years later on that hit TV series that are in this film, and they are Laurie Holden, Jeffrey DeMunn, and of course Melissa McBride. I initially went to see The Mist, not having read the source material by Stephen King. I knew it was in his short story collection. I believe it's in The Skeleton Crew. I initially, after seeing the movie, though, I did go out and buy. They had released it in paperback form, and I did read the book, or the short story, and really enjoyed it. I think my primary reason for even I love Stephen King, and I'll see any Stephen King movie that comes out, but knowing that Frank Darabont had done this movie, after having done two of my favorite films of all time, which is The Green Mile and The Shawshank Redemption, I was like, he can do no wrong in my eyes. I also love The Majestic, which is another movie of his that I'm just completely in love with, and I just love the style that Frank Darabont brings to his films. I love his storytelling techniques. Yes, they are. A lot of people are critical because he does tend to do very long movies, but I love a well done story, and I also love the fact that he has a lot of character development in his stories, in the movies that he does, and I really enjoy those. The Mist is one film that stuck with me, and I think still, even nearly 6 years later after it was initially released, it still has a tremendous impact on me when I watch it. This is not some lighthearted horror film. There's a lot of themes that are sort of addressed in this film, a lot of them being religious, and also just how people react in a crisis situation. Yes, there are monsters in this because it is dealing with an otherworldly type incident that happens. The Mist does bring about, characters, other types of monsters that, what I love that Darabont did is that you don't see them very well. There are a couple of scenes in the film where you do see the monsters really clearly, but for the most part they're hidden by the mist. They're almost shadow-like. You barely see them. They're just covered in the mist. You can see them walking around. Some of them are larger than others. Some of them are like spiders and giant insects. But I think the way that he did this film, and the fact that he shot this in, I believe, 37 days, he had a very tight turnover time to do this film, and I think he just does it magnificently. I mean, I love this film 100%. It's a tremendous Stephen King adaptation, and I love all the cast in it. I love Thomas Jane. I've always been a fan of Thomas Jane, going back to Boogie Nights and Deep Blue Sea. I thought he was tremendous in this film. His best performance, in my opinion. Also loved Laurie Holden. Marcia Gay Harden is so, it works so well in this because she plays Mrs. Carmody so over the top, but it works so well for this because I truly believe that there are people that would act like this in this type of situation. You're going to have the people that are kind of neutral, and then you're going to have the people that, think that they have to repent because they feel like this is an act of God, a punishment if they don't, repent their sins. and ask for forgiveness. She really embodies that brainwashing type of thing that you see sometimes with these crazy preachers who are always predicting the apocalypse and things like that. And it really works very well in this. You have other great actors in this like Toby Jones and William Sadler and Andre Braugher. So yes, I think it's a tremendous movie. There's great special effects in this. I love that, of course, the great Greg Nicotero and KMB did the effects. They did use a lot some CGI in this, but they also did some practical effects, which is great. A lot of the CG that Frank Darabont was kind of forced to use was because of the quick turnover time, but KMB did design a lot of the monster effects with regular special effects, so that they would have some type of reference when they were shooting the scenes. The other element of this movie that I want to say is that the controversial ending. The novel ending is very ambiguous. So and Darabont thought, added his own ending to this that kind of takes the elements of what Stephen King said at the end of his story and takes them a step further. And I know for me, it's a gut-wrenching ending, and for a lot of people I think it makes or breaks if they like this film or not, because it isn't a happy ending at all. And I know for personally, my wife hates this movie because of the ending. It just really bothered her, and but I think it's such a ballsy ending, and it was one thing that Darabont asked that Dimension, since he was going to be working with Dimension to put this movie out, that he would do the movie in the time frame that he was given, only if they didn't make him alter the ending, and they wouldn't do that. So he was able to do the movie he wanted to do. And I have to say that this movie really is the ending just really gets you, but it works for the way the film is structured together. I mean, I couldn't see this film ending the way the book did. And I think it's just a true testament to who Frank Darabont is as a writer, as a director. He's amazing, and it's just a true masterpiece. And if you have not seen this film, and a lot of people don't talk about this film, people that have seen it call it a masterpiece, but there's a lot of people that don't talk about it. And it's just one of those films that I think is just, it gets better every time you watch it. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch this video, listening to my thoughts on this brilliant movie, The Mist. Absolutely love this film. I bought it the day it came out on DVD, and I've had it, and this is a tremendous DVD set because it has a black and white version of the film as well, which is amazing to watch. If people have not gotten this, I recommend picking this up 100%. And if you guys have seen The Mist and you have thoughts on it, please share them with me. I want everyone's opinion about this wonderful, wonderful film. And again, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for another underrated horror film, which I'll probably be doing tomorrow. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and hope everyone has a great evening. Take it easy. Peace.